Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Alex Curry here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys. How we doing this fine Monday?
Good morning. We're good.
Boy, L.A. is Kawhi Town now, isn't it? Have you seen what Kawhi Leonard's been doing? He's taken over the NBA playoffs. I'm not even sure if the Lakers should even go on playing. They should just call it a year.
I mean, you didn't see that virtuoso the other night, huh?
Against Portland?
Eight-man
Portland?
Against Dallas? Against one-man Dallas?
Yeah, that's some man, though, right? Let's talk about
he's some man now.
Talk about that man.
Yes, let's get started with yesterday's Clippers-Mavs game because late in the first quarter, Marcus Morris came down hard on Luka Dončić as the Mavs forward drove to the basket, making contact with his head and causing him to go to the floor. Morris was given a flagrant 2 foul and ejected. The Clippers would end up winning the game and series. But after the game, Luka said, quote, "It's 2 games in a row he did something like that, and I really hope the first game it wasn't on purpose. But looking back on the foul this game, you know what I think." So, Shannon, what is your view on how this play unfolded?
Well, he got what he deserved. He should have been ejected. I'm not surprised. I would have been surprised had they not ejected him from the ball game. It was a cheap shot, Skip, and I think given his history over the totality of his career, Skip, he's no longer going to receive the benefit of the doubt. And, Skip, I don't know if people realize this, but officials watch game film also. And what they've seen from game one, it was who, Skip? Marcus Morris and Luka Dončić got into it, which led to Kristaps Porzingis being ejected. And then we see the game before this game that I believe he deliberately stepped on Luka's ankle. And I believe Scott Foster, who's the lead official in this game, when they're watching tape, they see an escalation. What transpired, Skip, is that Luka is a young player. And what you do, you start by talking and see if I can get him out of his game. Let me talk. Chirp, 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 chirp. And as you mentioned, Skip, remember he was backing up the court, and he was like, "Oh, y'all doing all that talking." And I'm I'm steady busting you guys up. So once they figured talking couldn't get Luka out of his game, what do we have to do, Skip? We got to ratchet up the physicality of the ball game. Mm-hmm. And I believe Marcus Morris allowed the physicality to go overboard. Skip, I get it. Understand you try to make a play on the ball, but after that, he raked the man across his face. And they said, you know what? Before we go any further, let's just go ahead and nip this in the bud, and we're going to remove Marcus Morris from the game. But I need former players, and we do that a lot, Skip, in our game of football. Oh, back in my day. Skip, you know, back in my day, the movie was $3. Gas was $1.44. Well, you're not back in your day anymore. The NBA is not going to allow this to happen, just like the NFL is not going to allow these kinds of hits to happen. So I'm not surprised by this. Luka, at some point in time, Luka's like, I got to stand up for myself. Boban did a good job of corralling him, and because at the end of the day, Skip, Marcus Morris being ejected is not the equivalent of Luka Dončić being ejected. And I think great players and smart players, superstar players have to understand that. They're willing to do a one-off. That's not Kawhi and Luka being ejected. That's Marcus Morris, who's probably the 3rd or 4th best player on their team, getting ejected for the unquestioned leader, the best player on the Mavericks team. So I'm not surprised that Marcus Morris was ejected for a flagrant 2, given his history, what has transpired in this series, and I think it was a just call. I think it was right, and they did the right thing by ejecting him.
So I, as usual, saw that play a little differently than you did because I see Luka Dončić a little differently, if not a lot differently, than you see him. The more I watch him, the more I believe that Luka Dončić is actually a wolf in sheep's clothing. We know he wears sheep's clothing. He's got that, golly gee, nice guy. I love everybody. Why do they hate me?
He does. He's 21. He don't even know any better.
Okay. I don't know. What does he hate about me? I didn't do anything wrong to him.
He didn't.
Beneath that is a high IQ, crafty, former long-time European professional basketball player. He's been a pro since he was 15. He knows all the tricks in the book, and he brought them all to the States to play in the NBA. And I admire him for all the above, but let's not call him something that he is not. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And here we went again. He is highly capable of pulling off little gray area, cheap, shoddy, sort of dirty plays that trigger retaliation in a guy who has, as you point out, a long-time reputation for such retaliation. So what happens on that play in question? I thought Marcus Morris just guarded the heck out of him because he's got him dead to rights. He's got him bodied up in the lane, and Luka's going to have a hard time getting this shot up and off.
Right.
And Luka, okay, it's a man's game, and he is becoming a man right before your very eyes. And what does he start doing as he's driving? He starts throwing the bow, and he throws it about 3 different times, and he's just jacking Marcus Morris right up in the chest. And Marcus finally, after about the 3rd little elbow, just finally said, I've had enough of that. And he just basically cold cocked.
Yeah, exactly.
He did. He just smacked him right across the top
So you
of the
admit
head.
that. You admitting that part. Okay.
He inspired, he triggered a flagrant retaliation. Way to go. Advantage Luka, because he got, listen, Marcus Morris is a starter for the Los Angeles Clippers.
And he had got off to a great start, too.
He had, and he is also the primary defender in this series on Luka, because Kawhi, you could argue, should be, and sometimes Kawhi was down the stretch.
Right.
But mostly it was Marcus, because Kawhi is the whole offense. And it does scare me a little bit about the Clippers, because when in doubt, they just say, here, you do it.
Oh, Paul George ain't out of his slump?
You just do it. You just do it and do it. Oh, he's out there, and he gets
But you told me Paul George was out of his slump.
Oh, well, I don't know. I told you I don't trust him. He's a complimentary star, occasionally turns into George Paul. But do I trust Kawhi Leonard to get buckets when buckets need to be got? You better believe that I do. And in this case, Marcus Morris is gone. Again, they were starting to take over the game. They ended up just jumping to a 23-point lead at the start of the 3rd quarter, and then they backed off Luka. And finally, as I campaigned for a week ago on this show, this day, on a week ago Monday, they did make Luka give up the basketball a bunch in the first half. So they were respecting him enough to say, we're not going to let you beat us, especially without Porzingis.
Correct.
But now let's go back to 1 week ago when Luka did beat them with the last-second shot. And what happened fairly early in that game, late in the 1st quarter, about the same time this play happened, there was a play on Reggie Jackson underneath the basket. I don't care what anybody says. This is a dirty play on the part of Luka Dončić, the oh shucks gee whiz kid. He just belts Reggie Jackson right across the back of the head, and he knocks it. That's a shot to the back of the head. He knocked him not only out of bounds, but he knocked him a little out, where he was a little woozy getting up.
He tried to tip the ball.
Oh, was he? He just smacked him because he is a crafty Manu Ginobili-style basketball player. And he got Reggie so good that Reggie had to go all the way to the locker room to get checked out for a concussion.
Man, it wasn't no wrong with Reggie.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. And that prompted, that triggered, that inspired the retaliation on the part of an enforcer, Marcus Morris, who then aimed his foot at Luka's left foot, which carries the...
That was Tuesday night, Skip. That was the game before this Tuesday night.
Okay. Tuesday, but he steps on his shoe.
Look at that, Skip.
And it's intentional. It's aimed. It just is. It's what he does. It's how he plays.
Right.
He's playing his role for this team. They just picked him up at the trade deadline.
Right.
He is providing them a little bit of enforcement that they probably needed. So, again, I'm looking at retaliation. And I found it very interesting how Marcus Morris responded after the game to Luka on social media. Did you see his, I think it was a tweet response?
You talking about on Tuesday or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Oh, no, I didn't see
yesterday.
it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
He said, cry me a river, Clippers in 6. The operative word there is cry, because Luka Dončić has turned into the biggest crier I have ever witnessed. He whines after every call or non-call, a lot of them non-calls on his drives, where he just thinks he should go to the free throw line every time he misses a shot. I have never, in all my years going back to the 70s of covering and watching the National Basketball Association, seen any player whine and cry as much as Luka does, and it's a bad look for him. And I think slowly but surely he's going to turn the referees more against him than for him.
I disagree, Skip. I think this is something that superstars do. You look at James Harden, you look at Giannis, you look at LeBron. Kawhi has started to ratchet it up. Since the beginning of time, superstars. Skip, if I miss a shot, there had to be a reason why I missed that shot. I just didn't miss it. I was fouled. It's like quarterback, Skip. Anytime the quarterback goes down or anytime he misses a throw, what do they automatically do? They look at the official. He hit me. He's grabbing my receiver down the field. That's just what superstars do. There's an expectation that I should get this call because of who I am and my stature within the league. So Luke is starting to say, well, hold on, wait a minute. I know I'm 21. I've only been in the league 2 years, but I'm a superstar. I should get those calls. James Harden gets them. Giannis gets them.
James Harden doesn't whine and complain nearly as much as this kid does.
James throws this, of course not, because he's shooting 18 free throws a game. Why should he complain? He should complain. He's like, oh, man, y'all shouldn't have gave me that one.
What have I told you about shooting free throws? They'll let you shoot more and more if you make more and more. The referees know who you are and what you do at the free throw line. And if James Harden is going to make 90%, he's going to get more and more chances to go to the line. Luka Dončić has missed more free throws during the postseason in the bubble than any other player in the. He made 4 of 8 yesterday. That won't work.
He'll improve that because Skip, you look at what he did now. He was 31, 10, and 9 on 50% shooting against 2 of the premier wing defenders in all of basketball. He's 21. So, and Marcus Morris is seeing this. He's like, hold on, wait a minute. This dude is cooking. They cannot keep him. They could not keep him from the basket. He was getting to the basket at will. Skip, can you imagine if he shot 80% from the free throw line in this series, what his numbers would have actually looked like? I mean, 31, 10, and 9. So he shoots 80%. You're talking about 35, 10, and 9. He did that the last half on a bum ankle. Remember?
You say he's going to improve at the free throw line?
Oh, absolutely.
Wait a second. I've been waiting for LeBron James to improve at the free throw line for 17 years.
It is sacrilegious for you to mention this at this current time.
I think not. Well, you say he's going to improve. LeBron deproves. He decreases.
Guess what? He's going to increase his 3-point field goal percentage, and he's going to increase his free throw percentage. I've said this, and I believe this wholeheartedly. Luka will be the next guy to average a triple-double for the entirety of the season. And I'm not talking about a 22, 25-point triple-double. He will have one of those Oscar Robertson-type triple-doubles, 30-plus points. Luka is going to average. Luka, next year, I'm going to be surprised, Skip, if he doesn't average 33, 34 points a game, because that's just how good he is. He improved that free throw percentage. Just get to 80. He don't need to shoot Steph Curry or Dame Lillard, 89, 90%. Just get to 80. That's an extra 2 or 3 points a game. So for me, and Marcus Morris saw that the talking, the chirping, you ain't nothing, and this, and they calling him all kind of, that wasn't bothering him. So we got to ratchet up the physicality to try to take him out of his ball game, because you're like, look, he's soft. He ain't gonna take it, because, you know, everybody back picks him and screens him, and he falls down. Yeah, he flops a lot, but I'm not surprised. But it's okay. He's still a superstar. And
is he? Superstar?
Capital S.
Really?
Yes.
Well, did you hear what Jeff Van Gundy said at the end of yesterday's
No, I didn't hear.
ESPN telecast?
What did he say?
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
That? I don't know I think we have it.
Well, he's easily a top 5 player right now. He's going to be a perennial MVP candidate.
What? He's easily a top 5 player? I don't think even Shannon Sharp would go that far.
I ain't ready to go there. To go there. I love Jeff, and I think he and Mark Jackson and Mike Bream do an unbelievable job. But I'm not ready.
No, you don't listen to the sound.
But I have heard.
You have heard them?
I have heard them.
Well, maybe somebody tweeted to you.
No. Nobody tweeted. Steve was talking to me last night about this. I'm not ready to go there, Skip. It's only 1 year. I mean, yeah, he's rookie of the year. I need to see, for me, I need to see people string together some seasons before I'm ready to make that conclusion. Now, do I believe he's a superstar after what I've seen after his rookie year and what I've seen after this year, after 2 years? Yes, I believe that. But to say he's top 5, Nah, I'm not going there yet. Not there. No.
You just, about 2 minutes ago, you predicted next year he'll average a triple.
Yeah.
So you think he's on the verge?
Absolutely on the verge.
So what is he, like 7?
Yeah, I believe he's close to top 10. I'm not taking him in front of James Harden. I'm not taking him in front of LeBron. I'm not taking him in front of Giannis. I'm not taking him in front of Kawhi, Kevin Durant. There's a couple of guys I'm not taking him in front of at this current time. But he's coming, Skip. There's no doubt about it. He's coming.
It is ludicrous to even talk about Luka Dončić in the top 5. And I also love Jeff Van Gundy. I hang on his every word. He entertains me and he enlightens me every time I turn on my television and listen to him. But in this case, this is way too soon. Is he in the rock star top 5 of the NBA? Yeah, I'll give you that, because he's become like a rock star. It's like he's already legendary somehow. I'll give him this. He's becoming, for sometimes wrong and right reasons, must-see TV.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out the stats one last time, because this can be the last time we're going to talk about him, probably until next year. During the regular season, he shot 31.6% from 3. That is so bad, it was almost at the bottom of qualified three-point shooters. It was 140th of 147 qualified three-point shooters. From the free throw line during the regular season, he shot 75.8%. That ranked 85th of 118, and that actually went down during the playoff series. During the 6 games, he made 67.8%, which ranked 48th of 52 free throw shooters during the playoffs.
Skip, let's just say, for the sake of argument, and I believe he can increase this, let's just say he becomes a career 35, 36% three-point shooter. That's an extra 3 points a game.
I've been saying that about LeBron. I got to bring it up again. For years, he has left thousands of points on the table because he's a lousy free throw shooter. LeBron is. He's below 70. You can't be.
So you want the guy to have everything.
They're called free throws for a reason.
So
there's no law that you can't go stand and practice free throws from 15 feet away unguarded all off season until you figure out how to make it.
Why didn't Michael Jordan shoot the 3 ball like Steph Curry?
It wasn't emphasized.
But it was in the game.
It was like almost, it was considered a circus part of it.
There was no circus. No, wasn't no circus. Skip, so you expect Luka to be able to shoot the shoot free throws like Larry Bird or Steph Curry, shoot the 3 ball like Klay Thompson, and still be able to get to the rim like James Harden and LeBron?
He should be able to make 38% of his threes, and he should make at least 80, if not 85% of his free throws. That's more easily achieved than the three-point shot.
I'm saying I believe he can consistently shoot 35, 36. 35, 36% above 31, that's an extra 3 points a game. Now, if he does what you say, get to 80, 85, Skip, the guy's going to average almost 35, 40 points a game.
Should be able to do it. There's no law against practicing free throws.
Yeah, Skip.
Okay.
But, Skip, they're not going to. So, in other words, just imagine if Tom Brady had Michael Vick's leg, had Patrick Mahomes.
He doesn't need it.
Oh, okay then.
He doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it.
He's won 6 Super Bowls out of 9.
Skip, no, but I don't care. I don't care how. No,
Who cares?
No, first of all.
He's simply the greatest quarterback ever. He doesn't need it.
No. Stop saying he won 6 out of 9. Tom Brady's been in the league 20 years. So the other 11 years, he didn't get to the Super Bowl. So stop saying that.
Do you know how many AFC Championship games he went to?
I don't care if he went to 15.
It's staggering. He has ended the GOAT.
Did he go every year? Did he go every year?
It's silly.
Did he go every year?
Is he the greatest quarterback ever? Is he? That's all I want to know. Greatest quarterback? Yes.
Skip.
Over.
Skip, all I'm saying is that you're not going to have everything.
Okay, I got it. But in this case, he has missed the most free throws in the playoffs so far, 22 misses. He also has the most turnovers in all the playoffs, but I'm going to give him that. He's got 31 turnovers, but his usage rate is just 1 percentage point off Donovan Mitchell. So he's got the ball in his hands a lot. It's like LeBron. He's going to have
and he's playing 40-plus minutes a game.
Now, let's look at top 5 players. Who's in my top 5? I'll give your guy LeBron top 5. He's still playing at a very high level.
You give it to him.
And I'll give your other guy AD. Sometimes he's all done in the fourth quarter, but the other night he wasn't. So I was impressed. So he's still hanging right in my top 5. Then there's this guy, out of sight, out of mind. His name is Kevin Durant.
Yes.
All he did was win back-to-back finals MVPs.
Yes.
And all he is the best player on the planet. He's in my top 5. That guy, Giannis, he's about to win MVP as well as Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes.
I think that qualifies for top 5. And all you got to do, I opened the show by telling you, Kawhi Leonard is showing you top 5 goods right now.
Yeah.
He's showing you on both ends of the floor when he needs to, top 5 ability and take.
So when you got James Harden?
Okay, I got James Harden. Thank you for bringing it up. I got him number 6. But in my second 5, I got Steph and Kyrie. And do not write off Joel Embiid. He's still a nuclear weapon. And don't write off Russell Westbrook, who your team just might have to be dealing with here pretty soon if they can finish off the Thunder. Then we go to the third 5. And there's this guy, Klay Thompson, out of sight, out of mind. He's simply as good a long-distance clutch shooter as I have ever seen. And then there's a kid, Boston, named Jason Tatum, and every time I watch him, he gets a little better.
Hold on. Woo. You saying Jason Tatum better than Luka?
I'm seeing him do it at the highest level, and I haven't seen him do it. Did he win this series? Did he take it over?
Hold on, Skip.
Okay.
You do realize that he has... Hold on. Now, he was doing this without Porzingis, without Cauley-Stein, without Powell. So, okay, if we take, let's just say for the sake of argument, we're going to take Kemba Walker and we're going to take Jaylen Brown away from Jason Tatum.
All right. Are all these people I just read you names of, are they defensive liabilities? Because this guy's a defensive liability. The teams he plays against target him on defense.
That's okay.
Whoever he guards, they try to go to him, get him the ball.
Yeah.
He'll steal the ball from you, but he won't get in front
But he'll light you up and off. And don't think I didn't see what you did. You mentioned a lot of names, but you ain't mentioned Dollar. Dollar is a top 10 player.
I got him in my 16 to 20.
Hey, you out your mind. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Skip. But somehow, I don't know how.
Remember, in my third 5, I've got not only Jason Tatum, but there's this kid, Jamal Murray, and this other kid, Donovan Mitchell, and they are shooting it out and lighting it up every night.
Both of them, and both of them are unbelievable. But I'm not taking either one of them in front of
Dame.
Dame.
Who was the best player in the regular season, end of regular season bubble, and his name's Devin Booker, and he's way up on my list.
I love Book. Skip, I'm not taking him over Dame.
I don't know. Luka's still got to show me a lot. He's a lousy shooter from distance, a lousy free throw shooter, a defensive liability, and you're talking top 5 or even top 10. You've got him at like 6 or 7.
Hold on.
I don't.
Hold on.
I need to see a whole
Joel Embiid just got swept.
Yep.
Just got swept.
Yeah, and last year, what did he do? He took Kawhi and Toronto to the last shot of Game 7, and it hit on the rim from the corner 4 times and fell in. I don't know.
All I know is there's a lot of people getting fired in Philly under Joel Embiid's watch.
Yeah, all I know is I'll still take it. I'd like to coach him. I would.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could do it.
Okay.
Yep.
Or you going to be a trainer?
I'll be everything.
Okay, well, you will need to be.
Yep. He'd listen to me.
Okay. But all I'm saying is, Skip, you need to stop and give some respect to Luka. Give him the respect that he deserves.
He showed me a lot. He can get in the lane, and he can Euro step you to death. He plays at some weird, awkward speed that is actually too slow to guard. It's like weirdness. It's like he has this sort of hidden quickness, but usually it's like too slow to even. What are you doing?
Yeah, he can decelerate and almost come to a complete stop and then go right. Because he did it twice to Kawhi and got an and ones. Because Kawhi's like, oh, he right. Like, huh?
I complimented him numerous times over the last 3 weeks. During the pandemic, during those almost 5 months off, he beefed up his upper body. He is playing with clout and strength in his upper body.
And he's 21.
Yep.
I know a lot of guys. Okay, you keep mentioning all these guys. What were they doing at 21? Most of them was in college.
Some of them were.
College.
Yep.
Yeah. Larry Bird was in college. I know a guy that you say is the greatest quarterback of all time was in college at 21.
The greatest quarterback?
Yeah, that's what you say.
He wasn't even a starter.
He was in college.
He was not a starter.
Luka Dončić on his own. Paying mama and them bills.
Yeah,
that's what he doing, not mama and them sending him money. He's sending mama money.
I say what I see, and I haven't seen enough.
You see greatness.
No mercy.
On Saturday, Pete Carroll canceled Seahawks practice and addressed the media by giving a speech about racial inequality in America instead of taking questions. Carroll said that white people need to be coached up because, quote, black people can't scream anymore. He also said white people need to be willing to listen because they have accepted a fake history in this country. Shannon, How impactful was this?
It was very impactful, Skip, and I'm a firm believer, Skip, it's never too late to do the right thing, but it's really convenient now because Pete Carroll knows he's not going to receive any backlash. So I'm going to give him credit because he still stepped out. There's still not enough Pete Carrolls. A man that's a head coach or a person, a white coach or person that's in a position of power that will speak on behalf of the blacks. And Skip, at this point in time, it's not ignorance anymore. It's willful ignorance. Is that you're choosing not to see the history, to say you don't understand why blacks and a lot of people are taken to the streets to protest inequality, to protest injustices, systemic. I don't get it, Skip. You understand. Skip, for the most part, they know the history of America. They know it. They know how blacks were treated less than. Were always told they were treated less than. They were told they were less than. They were given less than. You brought them here in chains. You robbed them of their humanity. You told them this is what you were. Skip, you're not a citizen. You're not human. Just go back and look at case law when they said Plessy versus Ferguson. They said separate but equal. You go back and look at Dred Scott case, Skip, when Roger Twain said a slave can never be a citizen.
Okay.
So for you to say...
He didn't speak about that.
No, but I'm saying, but to say the history of America, the black, and what its place has been in American history, to say, well, I don't know why they want equality. I don't know why they want justice. They got it so good. This is the best country in the world. So because you have equality, because you get justice, damn with the people that seek equality, damn the people that want justice, want equal, not more than, equal justice, equality. So for Pete Carroll to step and say, guys, y'all just listen, hear them out. Don't be dismissive and talk about your snowflake, talk about your complaining, talk about your whining. I commend Pete Carroll for taking this time, taking that opportunity to talk about, guys, y'all ain't even trying to hear them. How much more they can scream? How many more buildings can they burn? How much more stuff can... Guys, what you do is that you take, when people, Dr. King said riots is the voice of the unheard. You take that, but you won't talk about what led them to the streets. Skip, there's something that transpired that led a large block of the population to vote for President Trump. There was something that transpired, doesn't it, Skip? You know what it was? It was 2008 to 2016. Factual. Now you can...
Well, it's not factual, but that's your takeaway. That's your...
Skip, you look at what was being said. You look at what was everything that this man did. Skip, they called him to the carpet for a brown suit. They called him to the carpet because he had Starbucks in his hand. And look at what this guy's doing, and everybody's locked up in barrel. Not to get too off topic, Skip.
Let's stay on Pete Carroll.
For Pete Carroll to do what he did, even though Skip, this time is different, it's convenient now. I wish he had done this in 2016. I wish he had done this with Cap. He had an opportunity to sign Cap. He had Cap in there, Skip. That would have been the time, don't you think, Skip Bayless? You had the man in there at the forefront of this movement. You had him in your office. And you let him walk out of there. We didn't even give him a T-shirt to work out in. You didn't even give him a pair of shorts and cleats and said, let me see what you got. Talk to me on the board. Play some film. What you see in here, Cap?
Thank you.
So for me...
When was that? It's a long time ago.
It seemed like an even longer time ago. But Skip, I'm going to give...
Where were you, Pete Carroll? Where were you then?
Skip, but I know Skip, it's never too late to do the right thing.
Okay, to answer the question, look, I'll give it impactful because it trended all day and all night on Twitter. I'll give it impactful if it opened one white person's eyes, mind, and heart to what's really going on, what should be going forward in this country. If just one soul got saved by this speech that he gave, I'm good with it. But
I'm saying I feel a but coming.
There's a big but here. This isn't 20/20 hindsight. I've said this again and again when we discuss what Pete Carroll says before and after games. There's a little bit of con artist going on with Pete Carroll. There's a little bit of used car dealer going on with him, salesman going on with him. And I'm never sure how genuine he is. I'm never quite sure how authentic he is. He says what needs to be said to help his teams survive crises and win games.
Right.
But what does he do? Well, he brought in Cap.
Right.
Way back when the league needed somebody out there, just bring him in.
Right.
Don't just pay lip service to it.
Right.
Just pay a little respect.
Right.
And then send him on his way.
Right.
Because that's all that happened.
Right.
You know and I know.
I know.
Nothing happened.
Nothing.
He didn't dress him out. He didn't work him out.
No.
He didn't even put him on the whiteboard,
Right.
chalkboard.
Right.
He did not do anything
did not.
do a little favor, do a little solid for the league. I'll bring him in.
Right.
I'll bring him in.
Right.
Baloney. Stop it. it makes my skin crawl just to think about
Right.
what happened. And then this is the same Pete Carroll who, when he speaks, I'm never sure he really believes what he's saying. And I watched this whole thing. I watched it from start to finish. And I like a lot of what he said, but it didn't come across with pure, raw, credible emotion to me. Let's not compare it to Doc's speech.
You turned the word right out of my mouth.
Let's not go there.
Right. Okay.
Again, I like it because any little bit helps.
Right.
And like you say, it's never too late to do the right thing. But some of it came across as so simplistic that it was offensive to me as a white man.
Right.
After a while, Pete, where have you been? This has been going on for a while now.
Yeah.
And it felt like he jumped on the very back of the bandwagon and said, look at me.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak out for all you coaches. Where are you? Where are you? You need to do the same thing that I'm doing.
Right.
You need to do the right thing because these players are screaming out.
Right.
They want love. They want respect. Okay, we get that, Pete.
Right.
It's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
Go back to George Floyd. He got murdered on Memorial Day weekend or
It was that
weekend.
Yeah.
But it's a while back.
Yeah.
Pete, did you watch what happened in this country? The outpouring over that?
Across the world.
Across the world. Did you watch the protests? I'm going to say it one more time, and I don't want to overstate this, but it was a significant development to me. A lot of white, and they were mostly kids, because there's a whole generation of white people out there who see this and get this and want to fight it.
Right.
They want to act on it. They want to change it forever. And that's why all the racist symbols, and I know they're just symbols, but it's got to start somewhere.
Right.
Take down the statues. All the vestiges of racism and slavery, take them down.
Right.
Eradicate them.
Right.
And it started to happen. Anybody now, that owner of the soccer team in Salt Lake City, you do that, and there's a day he would have gotten away with that, but you're not going to get away with that anymore. So at least we're making bits of progress. We still got a million miles to go. I'm the first to tell you, most of them with police enforcement. It's just so wrong, and trust me on this, we still have a bunch of racist cops in place with badges and guns. And
that should be an automatic. That should be automatic firing.
Okay, I got you. But I loved what the Baltimore Ravens did, because on Friday,
they gave you specifics.
They posted
specifics.
You need to arrest and charge the officers responsible for Breonna, the whole thing, and the shooting of, in Kenosha. So they went specifically down. This should change, and this better change, and that has to change.
Mitch McConnell, you got legislation on your desk. Bring it to the floor.
You got to drive it home. You're calling people out who need to get called out. And in this case, it's a little simplistic.
A lot of generalities.
He said that our forefathers, they put together a system of slavery, and we've never really left it. It has never really gone away. Okay, I get it, but time out 1 second, Pete. just for the record, history, this is a fact. There was this thing fought called the Civil War. 450,000 approximate. 450,000 Union soldiers lost their lives. And the whole idea was, we've got to abolish slavery. We've got to do away with it in this country. So you got to give the white people, and there's some black soldiers who died also. But still, more North casualties were than South casualties in that war. So a whole bunch of men gave their lives just to do away with slavery. Now, are the vestiges, sort of the philosophies of it, are they still? Yes, I get it. But Pete, What is Pete? Is he not playing to the preaching to the choir?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got a team that back in the 2 Super Bowl years,
right.
it was seen as Black America's team. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And remember, it actually controversy erupted that split that team apart. The quarterback was seen as not black enough. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson. Remember this?
Yes.
And the Legion of Boom basically rebelled against a Pete Carroll who put the ball in the hands on the key play, the final play of the Super Bowl, in the hands of the quarterback as opposed to Beast Mode's hands, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now you've got a team that has 18 of 22 black starters. Well, yeah, they want to hear what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, you're preaching to them, and you're in what I would call a liberal city with a liberal ownership.
Right.
You're not preaching to Jerry Jones and the city of Dallas or the McNair family in the city of Houston.
Somebody from Texas say that. We might be on to something.
Whoop. Okay, so it's pretty easy for him to take this stance. And obviously his players are going to love it. And my final point is the league needed a favor, which is these owners, I don't know this for a fact, but I assume they were horrified by the prospect of we're barely trying to get through COVID, and all of a sudden, we might have boycotts of our first couple of games.
The NBA, what happened with the NBA definitely shook some of the owners.
So Pete Carroll is doing another little favor for the league because he's saying something that will resonate hugely and emotionally with black players across the NFL. And there's a little bit of placating going on. Like, we'll pat you on the head and say, we're going to do this for you.
Right.
I'm going to pound the podium for you.
And that's what's so surprising, Skip. Through all of this, not one time did one team take one for the team. Now, we saw what happened. As a matter of fact, Skip, I was on your show, I think it was 2016, with the Michael Sam situation. And somehow, all of a sudden, the SEC Player of the Year.
Jeff Fisher said, I'll take one for the team. Yep. He was the co-player of the year, defensive player of the year.
And the SEC. Mm-hmm. Now, normally you get one of those awards, you're going to be a top at least the first 3 rounds.
I liked him a lot.
Yes.
I thought he would be a second-round pick.
Think about all those great defensive players that's come out of the SEC.
I got it. Okay, so Jeff Fisher said, I'm right down the road. I'll do it.
So I'm surprised they didn't call it a favor and say, look, just bring him in. Skip, even if just bring him in, work him out. At least if you bring him in and work him out, even if it's not even on the up and up, it will give the appearance that it's on the up and up. And at least people are like, well, they brought him in. Maybe they didn't like what they see. But when you bring a guy in and all you do is sit him down, because normally, Skip, I've been around normally on Tuesdays. They bring guys in, they work them out. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, running back, they put them through 40s, vertical jumps. They do all that stuff. Do the normal drills like you would do at the combine, Skip. That's what they normally do. They don't just bring guys in and have them go up to the coach's office and sit around and talk to Mike and shoot the breeze with the general manager. That's not what they do. They bring them in, they put them in to work out if you're serious. But if you're not, you do what you did.
I got it. So my bottom line to Pete Carroll, I appreciate what he said.
Yes.
I think it had some impact, and yet I would have stood up. I would have given him a standing ovation if he had signed Colin Kaepernick 3 years ago. Okay?
He's a little late to the party because it's convenient now, Skip. It's kind of like it's the kneeling, everything, Skip. That's real convenient now. 2017, 2018, when people was looking sideways, So, like I said, it's never too late to do the right thing, but you're right. Some of the toxicity and the venom has been drained because it's so late in the game.
No mercy. Well said, guys. Well, we're moving on to another strong voice for change, LeBron James, as LeBron strung together a 36-point triple-double on Saturday to close out the Blazers in Game 5 and advance to the second round of the playoffs. Tied at halftime, it was Anthony Davis who made the difference in the third quarter with 20 points and finished the game with a high 43. Now, after the game, LeBron said the Lakers had improved throughout the series as they faced off against one of the hottest teams in the bubble. So, Shannon, how impressive were the Lakers this weekend?
That about old LeBron.
Who gave you that?
No, see, there you go.
Is that from Maverick Carter? I want to know. Is it from Rich Paul? I want to know.
Y'all,
inquiring minds want to know.
Everybody remember Lil Penny. They remember Lil Penny.
He's kind of little.
They're little Bron. They're little Bron.
Why is he so little?
I've been waiting a long time to bring him out.
He's got the mean mug going. That's what he does after he hits a three when they're up
You need to stop
15.
hating. You need to stop hating so much. You saw this. Now, I heard you the other day, you were talking about, ooh, look at Kawhi. He got this many points on this many shots in this many minutes. Bron said, hold my beer. Bron said, hold that beer.
Hold my glass of wine.
Bron said, you know what I'm going to do for you, Skip? I'm going to drop 14 or 19. 4-7 from the 3. I'm going to go perfect from the free throw line because you keep bumping them gums over the top and I can't make free throws. Yep. So I'm going to go 100% from the free throw line. And I'm going to do this in another 34 minutes. Could I interest you in that? But Anthony Davis said, you know what? Paul George talking about he done snapped out of his slump and he going to do all this. So let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop 14 or 18. I'm going to go 4 or 6 from the three-point line.
That's outstanding. I mean, that's just stunning to me.
We got the best duo in basketball that's still in the playoffs. Well, first of all, we got the best duo in basketball, period. That's factual. That's fact. That's not conjecture. That's not innuendo. That's not speculation. That's fact. And it's led by this man right here, Skip, baby, Little Bron. That guy right there.
Little Bron?
36, 10, and 10. Now, they told me, from all what I've been reading, and I don't know who's been putting this out, I've been reading a lot. They say the families and the close relatives and friends that's supposed to be coming to the bubble supposed to clear quarantine today.
That is correct.
How in the hell Miss Trip Dub watched the game on Saturday night is unbeknownst to me. 36, 10, and 10. And Skip, we were bull jiving. I mean, just think we took it serious. You see what he did? He just became the second player to ever have a series in which he averaged a triple-double. Can you tell the people at home, Skip, who was the first to do it?
Go ahead.
You know who it is. This man keep doing it. And if you remember correctly, Skip, he was 3 rebounds short of doing it again in the finals. A trip dub. Now, y'all need to stop playing with this man. Y'all need to put some respect. You.
Not y'all, me.
No, you. Need to put some respect on his name, Skip, because he ain't playing no more. Now, he took the first game to feel it out to see what was going on, and he realized. Now, see, remember? This is what I know. The apology will never be as loud as when the people yelled that they were right. Now, I ain't heard Charles Barkley say nothing. You would quote me all these people. Oh, the Blazers are going to whitewash the Lakers. I owe this the best 8 seed in the history of 8 seeds. Why isn't the yelling that I was wrong as loud as the yelling is I'm going to be right? You notice that's the case, Skip Bayless? I do. Oh, you know what? No, I don't even want you to look at, bro. He's going to turn his back on you. You know what they say in Asian culture, when you dishonor someone, they turn their back on you. Turn your back on him, little Bron.
Oh, that's spit. Look out. You better cover him up, Bron.
What fact you got?
I don't want to look at him. He's scaring me.
Hold on. What fact you got after what you saw Saturday night?
First of all, nobody can have a triple-double against the Portland Trailblazers. You're disqualified because they're so bad on defense that nobody can. The record books will not allow it. It's a condition of records that you cannot be given a triple-double against the Portland Trailblazers, the worst defensive team in basketball, especially when they're down. Damian Lillard and Hassan Whiteside dislocates his pinky of his left hand early in that game. Thank you. I appreciate that. That guy is giving me the creeps.
I'm going to get even bigger when, as they advance, I just want you to know, it's going to get bigger and bigger.
And we'll have a life-size, Bron?
Until we win the championship, the real thing might be right there.
Good, I would love that.
No, he don't want to see you.
He won't come. He doesn't have the guts.
He don't want to see
Tell
you.
him I'll be nice to him.
Nope, you ain't ever nice.
That's it. He lives like 4 blocks from here. He could get here in 5 minutes.
I know he could.
Yep. Okay. So here's my problem. I appreciated what they put up. Those are staggering numbers. 14 of 19 for LeBron and 14 of 18 for his co-star. Those are outstanding numbers against anybody except the Trailblazers.
There you go. See?
Well, come on. The Trailblazers finished their season total, if we add it all up, 37 and 43. They're just not very good. But I told you, I first guessed that going in. This should have been a sweep. How they lost game 1, I still can't fathom. LeBron had the ball in his hands with a 6-point lead with 7 minutes to go. And down the stretch, they got run off the floor by the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
And a little bit of that was Damian, but a lot of it was Carmelo, and a lot of it was Gary Trent Jr. And LeBron had a 3 to cut it to 2 with 30 seconds left, plenty of time, and he missed that. He LeBricked it. So I'm sorry, I'm not that impressed, because in the end, you realize in the first half against Portland the other night, it's 68 all. They almost gave up 70 points to the Trailblazers. Yeah. What are you doing? What happened?
Well, in games past, had they given up that many points, they're down 10-15 at the half. But it was because of GOAT James. And you say hit that dagger 3 to get to 24 after 22 in the previous game at the half. He says, yeah, I just want you to know, at any given moment, I can step on the gas and be gone. At any given moment. Skip, that's a great luxury to have. See, you got 755 horsepower. You know at any given moment you can step on the gas, go from first to third, and be gone. And that's a great luxury to have, because there are very few people that is currently in the NBA that have that gear, that have a gear that says, you know what, bye. I'm going to the rack, dunk, boom. Oh, I'm going to pull up with a 3, boom. He got that. We got that. You don't.
We do. We got depth and mental toughness. This just proved nothing to me, because in the end, they were down to 8 players. They had 8 eligible players. Even Gabriel was hurt and couldn't play, the kid. What
are they going to do?
And I want to remind everybody, with 6:52 left in the game on Saturday night, it's 109 all.
Yeah.
That's just shameful.
And then what we do?
How could you pull out your mini Bron over that? He played miniature.
And guess what we did? Stepped on the gas, and you couldn't see nothing but tail lights.
Well, it should have happened in the first quarter. But no, they go...
Hold on, wait a minute. Why didn't y'all put them away? Kawhi Leonard played 40 minutes yesterday. Why you playing 40 minutes against the Dallas Mavericks? Are they the bad boy Pistons?
We were playing a real team with a top 5 player, according to Shannon.
I don't
top 6 or 7. That's what you just said.
No. I said he's borderline top 10-ish. But you make it seem like, look, I understand. And Skip, it's going to be a natural letdown. You playing a team without their best player. That happens in all sports. We say, man, there's no way they can beat us. They came out and they didn't guard, because the previous 3 games, Skip, they guarded, they defended. But they took them for granted, and CJ caught rhythm. Now, Melo made some shots, Skip. That looked like the old Melo, the old Melo in Denver in his first couple of years with the Knicks. He looked like that Melo.
Yep.
Man, I wish we'd had him. Now, Melo be looking...
Had him.
Damn.
Yeah.
We could have had old Melo, but that's okay. But the first pair of teammates to score for 35 and shoot 70% of the playoffs in the game. Is that good or bad? I just want to know, is that good or bad?
Asterisks versus Portland. That's all you need to know. The playoffs are about to start for your Lakers.
We get KCP hit just enough threes. KCP is starting to get a rhythm.
Yep.
And Skip, we didn't really get anything from Kuz.
Yep.
Kuz couldn't throw it in the ocean. Filing left and right, turning it over left and right.
Yep.
But O'Brien and AD, man, Skip, AD got, I knew early on, I said, it's going to be a long night for you. Skip, I don't know what it is about Nurkic and LeBron, but when LeBron see him...
No respect. Yep.
Eat him up.
Whiteside, a little different.
No, we do the Whiteside. We do whatever we want the Whiteside.
By the way, did you notice Whiteside dislocated his finger on a left hand and just said, pop it back in. I'll go right back in. Yeah. I don't know what happened to Damian Lillard. He didn't go back in. I know the game was wet.
Don't stop it, Skip.
Well, I'm just saying.
Stop it.
It did surprise me a little bit. Whiteside just sucked it up and said, put me in, coach.
Whiteside, backside, sunny side, Lakers in 5.
It should have been Lakers in 4.
Lakers in 5. I don't care what you say.
I know it. Lakers in 6, and I'm saying it.
Lakers in 5. I just want to know, all them people that were yelling, I guarantee, the Blazers this. Now, I need that this morning. I need you to say, I was wrong.
Charles Barkley said he was wrong about 15 times.
No, I hear it.
Well, I heard it.
He didn't call me personally then.
Well, you don't have your volume turned up, but he said it and said it.
Oh, you remember after the first game? He had a big old broom. He's sweeping. I'm watching him sweep right in the studio. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, everybody, I told you. I told you. I told you. Nah, I ain't quiet in the church mouse during the pandemic. I ain't heard nobody say nothing.
So I do have 2 final compliments.
Okay.
The first is for Anthony Davis. I was highly impressed, albeit against Portland, that he scored 11 in that 22-7 run that just put the game away.
Yes!
They were a lot of layups, dunks, and ones, but he did it. He came to play. He played with energy and electricity down the stretch. That was impressive. He was not all done in the fourth quarter. He was just getting started. So that will work going forward. He made 4 of 6 three-point shots. I don't know that you should love that, but he did make them.
I love that mid-range.
Yeah.
Skip, first of all, he's unguardable. He's unguardable because he has 3 points. So now what does Nurkic and Whiteside have to do? They have to respect the 3. Now, remember, at one point in time, he was 6'2", and he was a guard. So he can handle the ball. Now he's putting the ball on the floor. Bam, and 1.
He's unguardable until he goes into his shell and takes himself.
Ain't no more shells. No more shells, Skip Bayless.
And finally, I need to compliment both teams, Lakers and Clippers, because they were the 2 teams that reportedly voted out. We're gone. Back on Wednesday night, right?
Oh, the Clippers. You mean the Clippers and the Lakers?
Yeah. Clippers and Lakers.
Yeah.
And both of them came to play. It took both of them a little while to get rolling, but they did get rolling. And I was impressed with that because it had potential for disaster where one or the other team would just come out and not even show up.
Did you actually think we were going to play any more games than we absolutely had to?
I hope not.
Miss Tripp Dub was sitting in attendance. She had us lucky.
You blew game 1. You didn't have to blow.
Whoa. Y'all blew 2 games. You should have, first of all,
it was the #1 rated offensive team in the history of the NBA.
And the number 100 rated defensive team in the NBA. But anyway, Skip Bayless, you better be glad Kane Fitzgerald got the memo and filed out and threw out Porzingis.
Yep.
Because had that not happened, we might be having a different discussion today.
Well, I'd be gladder that he banged his knee, and I don't know what happened to it, but he was gone for the rest of the series. That helped also.
I mean, think about it. No Powell, no Cauley-Stein. Porzingis missed the last 2 games and was ejected in 5 minutes into game 3, and you over here hooting and hollering like y'all did something. One man took you to the brink. One man took you to the brink.
6, not to 7.
Made you look over the cliff.
Time for the playoffs.
It made you look over the cliff.
Now, I know it's only one series at a time. That's how we're supposed to look at it, but I can't wait for that Lakers and Clippers matchup.
Alex, AC, don't do that. I know we root. Don't do that.
All right.
No mercy.
The Nuggets' Jamal Murray has been on a historic hot streak. He dropped 50 points last night for the 2nd time in 3 games. It was only the 3rd player to ever have 50 points in a potential elimination game. He also joined Michael Jordan as the only player to ever have 3 straight 40-point, 5 rebound, 5 assist games in the playoffs. So, Shannon, has a star been born, or are we just seeing him ride a hot streak right now?
Skip, I've never seen anything like this. Jamal Murray averaged 18.5 points in the regular season. He shot 35% from the 3 on 5 attempts a game. He's now 34 points a game, 57 from the 3 on 9 attempts.
Say that again, 57?
57% from the 3-point line. And he's increased his scoring by 15.5 points. Skip, I've never seen anything like this, and unfortunately somebody's going to lose, and it's going to be forgotten. Because Donovan Mitchell is matching him. Everything that he's doing, Donovan Mitchell is doing for his team.
Yes.
I mean, but you look at Jamal Murray, he had 20 points in the 4th quarter in overtime in game 1. 21 points in the 4th quarter in game 4. 16 points in the 4th quarter in an elimination game. 21 points in the 4th quarter in an elimination game. Skip, I've never seen anything like this for a series. Now, we've seen games where guys go back and forth. We saw it in the first game of the series, Skip. One had, 40 plus, the other had 57. We've seen it for a game, not for the entirety of a series. So it's going to go 7 games. And basically what's happening is you've got to score. If you're and Murray, he has to score 40 to 50 in order for them to win. Donovan Mitchell has to score 40 to 50 in order for them to win. So for me, Skip, it's hard for me to say because, look, Jordan is a unique, man, most guys, Kevin Durant has a higher playoff scoring average than his regular season. So does LeBron. So does Jordan. But Skip, not 15 points. So I'm going to say it's a hot streak. Do I believe he has the potential to be a star? But Skip, because he has that, he's like a Dane. He can shoot the 3. You run him off the 3, he can get to the mid-range, and he can drive it all the way to the basket. You foul him, he can go to the free throw line. So that's what these young guys, Skip. The NBA, When you look at him and Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum and Luka Dončić, Skip, these guys, the court is spaced so wide. Guys can get whatever they want and they can shoot it. So, Skip, I'm going to hold off on saying he's arrived. This ain't just a hot streak. This is a historic hot streak.
It is. I have wrestled with this all night and all morning. Every night I sit back and watch these two young men and I say, that's impossible, and that's impossible. And he keeps doing it, and he makes another one, he makes another one. And both have the total package, to your point, because Jamal Murray is pretty good from mid-range jump shooting.
Yes.
Pretty good. He's not Kawhi Leonard or Michael Jordan, but he's pretty good. He's got that in his repertoire. In fact, in a Game 7 last year, first round of the playoffs, at Denver, he made a 14-foot jump shot with 30 seconds left that was the dagger for my Spurs. That put Denver up 4, and that was the end of that story. So he's capable of making big shots because I saw him make that from mid-range. And as we saw against Rudy Gobert, end of third quarter, the last game, he did that 360.
360 up and under.
Just like, okay, so he's got all of the above, and he can shoot the 3 like a madman when he gets going. There was one last night on a break. I don't know if we...
He pulled up. He's like a 103.
He said, I'm out of my mind. I'm just going to shoot this. I don't know if we have it or not. Do we have it? Yeah, we do. So there's a turnover. Whoops. And here we go. And he just says...
Skip, they got a 3-on-1.
I got this 3-on-1. And he just rips it. And that's when I said, that's too good.
Yeah.
You guys are done.
No, that's what the coach... No, son, Pat. Good job.
Good job. Okay, so in the fourth quarter last night, he makes 5 of 5 3-point shots and 7 of 8 shots from the floor.
Yeah.
That's 21 points. That's just too good.
Too good, yeah.
Okay, now, I'm going to go with you on... I'm going to lean hot streak here because he needs to show me in a Game 7 he can do it again.
Right.
Now, Utah is not... They've lost their defensive mentality and mindset and sort of mystique and aura they used to have. They're a middle-of-the-pack defensive team, and that's helping him some. He also has an all-star along for the ride, Jokic, and I think their defensive game plan has been more focused on Jokic than on Jamal.
Well, Skip, if you really think about it, Utah is Rudy Gobert. Nobody else is playing defense. No. It's Rudy Gobert clogging up the paint, challenging shots.
Standing under the basket.
Right. So it's not like they got wing guys that can, can funnel you one way or another. That's not what they are. They're Rudy Gobert, and that's it.
Okay, so now I got another shocking stat for you. The same guy who made 5 out of 5 3-point shots last night in the fourth quarter, in 2 Game 7s last year, this will be his 3rd straight playoff series Game 7, against the Spurs, he was 0 for 2 from 3, and against Portland in a Game 7 at Denver, he was 0 for 4. So last year, in 2 Game 7s, he made 0 threes, and now he's making 57% for 6 games.
Skip, he was 9 of 12.
What?
He was 9 of 12 last night.
12 last night. I know, that's impossible.
And even Donovan was 9 of 13.
Okay, so think about it. Last year, he played 2 full Game 7s and didn't make a single three. And his shooting was 9 of 19 against the Spurs. He did make the dagger.
Right.
But against Portland at Denver, Game 7, here you go to the conference finals, he goes 4 of 18 and 0 for 2. 17 total points, and CJ went off for Portland and scored 37 and won the game for them.
Yeah.
Okay?
But Skip, I mean, the thing is with them, and look at Donovan Mitchell. He's averaging 38. He's averaging 39 up from 24 in the regular season. So you got 2 guys, Skip, that have increased from the regular season to the playoffs by 15. Skip, that's, look 3 points, because Jordan is a 33, if I'm not mistaken, 33 points per game playoff as opposed to 30. That's 3 points. Skip, 15? Come on now.
Okay, so I need to see him do it one last time against Donovan, and then guess what happens? He's up against, what do you call them, the 3 best defensive wings, including Marcus Morris, and Kawhi, and Paul George.
I think that'll be a better series with them as opposed to Utah. Because Utah because if you got one guy, it's going to be really hard to beat the Clippers because they can force the ball, and that's what they started doing with Luka. They started forcing the ball out of his hand. Okay, Kleber, make that shot. Okay, Hardaway Jr., okay, Finney-Smith, make those shots. And they couldn't. With Murray, he does have Dončić.
He does.
Not, excuse me, doesn't have a Jokic, have a Joker.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it would be a better series. It's going to be interesting, Skip. I believe he's probably going to have to get 40+ to win again. Donovan's going to have to do 50.
I congratulate him on what he's done so far, but obviously this is what have you done for me lately, League, and you're going to have to do it one more time before we start to christen him and say you have arrived as a star.
We're going to forget, Skip. The thing is it's sad, but whoever loses this series, we're going to forget how good the other player played in this series, because there's a chance that Donovan Mitchell could average 40 and lose a Game 7, and all we're going to talk about is Murray, how he averaged 35, 36 and got his team to advance.
Well, if Donovan loses Game 7, they will have lost 3 straight games.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And what that would tell you, Skip, the better team would have won. Because there ain't no way you can get lucky.
Nope.
You can't get lucky 3 times in a row.
No mercy.
The legendary Georgetown head basketball coach John Thompson has passed away at the age of 78. Thompson won 7 Big East titles and also led the Hoyas to a national championship title in 1984. Allen Iverson thanked Thompson in his Basketball Hall of Fame induction speech for saving his life by coaching him at Georgetown. So, Shannon, what was John Thompson's impact?
Skip, what he did at this historic university. I remember his first national championship game. He lost to Dean Smith in North Carolina in 82. He goes back in 84, and they beat Akeem Olajuwon. And then the following year against Villanova, who they had beaten twice. And Villanova couldn't miss in the second half, and they ended up taking them down.
No shot clock.
No shot clock. And they stalled him out, and they was backdoor cutting them. Skip, but his impact, if you look at it, and Allen Iverson thanked him for saving his life. And I remember in 1989 when he walked off the court because of Prop 48. He said, because I believe this hurts minorities. And he was all for trying to empower minorities and giving them opportunities to go to these colleges and universities. And he felt that was going to harm them. Skip, in the Big East, I don't know if we'll ever see what that had then. Georgetown, Syracuse, St. John's. 3 iconic coaches, John Thompson, Lou Carnesecca, Jim Boeheim. And the players that came out of the Big East in that era, that was basketball. I mean, basically, I hate to say it, Skip, it was North Carolina, Duke, and then it was those teams.
Yep.
It was everybody else. That was it. And John Thompson's impact, Skip, and I think the thing is, and I hate using this, and he hated it, but as an African-American, to have the kind of cachet, to have the kind of clout that he had, people looked at him like a Coach Smith. They looked at him like a Coach K. He had that kind of cachet, Skip.
He did.
And what he brought, Skip, a lot of young black men, not only old basketball careers, but their lives, because he was the father figure that a lot of these young men did not have. And they embraced him as such. And he was brutally honest with them. So he's going to be sadly missed, Skip, but his impact on the game is going to be unmatched.
I was around John Thompson a lot because I covered all those Final Fours that you just mentioned, starting with that 82 game. What a collection of talent was on that floor. What a shootout that night was. Finally won by some kid named Mike Jordan.
Yeah.
Made a 18-foot jumper that was a signal of what was to come.
Launched him.
It did. John Thompson, to me, was a literally towering figure. He was 6 feet 10 inches tall, with a voice that game was played in the Superdome. His voice could echo around the Superdome.
Yeah.
The baritone that he had. It was commanding and compelling.
Yes.
And piercing. And this man, I love men who have the courage of their convictions, especially when they're up against it. And he was up against those legendary coaches, and he was not afraid of one of them.
Nope.
He spoke out often against Jim Boeheim. He feuded with him publicly, and this is in a time before any black coach had ever won anything.
Right.
And I know you hate it when somebody says he was the first black coach to win a championship, but he was.
He
in
was.
1984, he was the first black coach to win a college basketball championship. And he created a powerhouse at Georgetown.
At Georgetown.
A powerhouse at this little school, this nice little school there in the shadows of D.C., known for academics.
Well, you want a law degree or a business degree? Right. Nobody was thinking about basketball before John Thompson got there.
You want to talk about putting that school on the map? And he created this thing called Hoya paranoia.
Yes.
Where his teams played so hard, so physically, so intimidatingly, that they became the bullies of college basketball in a good way. Because they weren't, I know they were sort of gray area, play hard to the point, but they weren't considered dirty teams. They had this kid named Michael Graham. Do you remember that?
I do.
Enforcer?
Yes.
Bald head.
Bald head, yep.
And he was as hated and feared as any player in college basketball as their enforcer. And those teams, the great line from John Thompson was, I didn't like being the evil empire, but I marketed it. And he did. He played to it because it worked. It intimidated other teams and other coaches. He was doing things, you can't do that. Well, he would just do it.
Right.
And he would speak out in ways no black coach had ever spoken out about racial inequality. And remember how he came up through pro basketball. For 2 years, he was the backup to the great Bill Russell
with
in
2 championships.
Boston. And he was just the backup, and that averaged 4 points and 4 rebounds, played 10, 12 minutes. But he experienced firsthand what Mr. Russell was going through in the city of Boston in the mid-'60s when it came to racism. He knew it, he felt it, and he raged against it. And he went to Georgetown and continued to fight against it. And I believe that he opened a lot of minds and hearts of white people. Just because he was saying things no black coach had ever said that.
No, Skip, at the time, and you know, when a lot of blacks were thankful to have a job, he like, hell, I deserve this job. I'm not going to be meek. Skip, there was nothing meek about him. His towering physique, 6'10", probably 255, 260 pounds. So he was a towering figure. And he had a voice. He voiced his opinion. You never had to worry. I wonder what Coach Thompson thinking. You didn't have to worry about that because he told you what the hell he was thinking. Exactly. And verbatim. And in curse word, he dressed it up for the media. He was heavy on the curse words.
Heavy. There was no PC to him.
No.
He just let it spill.
Yes.
And he would always say it so matter-of-factly that you'd sit back and say, he's right. He's not going to dress it up and sort of parade it out there for you. He just going to throw it on the table, and you all sit back. The white media would sit back and say, you know what? He's got a point.
And Skip, when they got Patrick Ewing, I think Patrick Ewing was the big domino. They got him. Well, Sleepy Floyd was there before, but I'm saying for big men. And the next thing you know, here come Dikembe Mutombo, and here come Alonzo Mourning, and it was a string of big men to come through. And he had Allen Iverson, he had Reggie Williams, and those teams, as you mentioned, they played hard. They were physical. You were not getting anything cheap to the basket, Skip. That was not going to happen. First of all, Patrick Ewing was going to throw about 12 rows up in the stands. Because remember, Skip, I think if I'm not mistaken, the first 10 points that Carolina got were on goal tens by Patrick Ewing. He was trying to send a message. He was trying to send a message like, nothing easy is coming up in here. And you know, they called it for the goaltending. But Coach Thompson, Skip, his impact, what he meant to Georgetown, what he meant to D.C., they had his son to try, but it's kind of like if you had Coach Wooden's son to try to coach at UCLA. Skip, it's him. That's his legacy. I mean, you're never going to get another one of those. And the towel, Skip, you remember, he was known for having that towel thrown across his shoulder. Because he was sweating up a storm. It was hot in there, probably didn't have air conditioning in that gym, and he was sweating up a storm.
He made his towel more famous than Jerry Tarkanian's towel.
He did. Because biting on his, yes. But Coach Thompson, man, it was been a tough weekend, Skip. You know, with Chadwick Boseman and Cliff Robinson and Lute Olson. And Skip, and my condolences and prayers go out to all the families that are affected and the loved ones and friends. But Skip, you never know what a person's going through. Now, Chadwick Boseman, he filmed Black Panther, 21 Bridges,
I just can't imagine.
Marshall, The Bloods, the Marvel movies, all of that while dealing with that. And then everybody was talking about, but he on crack. You never know. Be quiet. Don't speculate. That man is going through things. Skip, and never said a word. When I saw Skip at first, because when it came up on his thing, because I follow him on social media, And it's like, this can't be fake on his page. You know, somebody else, I'm like, is this real? I didn't know he was sick. You know, Skip, I saw him losing weight. I'm thinking he's getting ready for a role.
Yep. He was a powerhouse.
He was just getting started.
And so was Coach Thompson.
Yep.
And rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
And God bless you for all that you broke through and accomplished.
Yes. Yep.
We lost some beautiful souls this weekend, as you guys mentioned, and they will be missed by all.
No mercy.
Fox NFL Sunday is back September 13th with a great slate of early games. Then it's a blockbuster in America's Game of the Week as Brady and the new look Bucks take on Breeze and the Saints. Check local listings for games in your area or watch it on the Fox Sports app. Now, the Cowboys televised their scrimmage yesterday, but it was far from what viewers are used to seeing. No players wore names or numbers on their jerseys, and most of the shots were tight on individual players, so formations couldn't be seen. Mike McCarthy said he didn't want to give other teams a competitive advantage, and Jerry Jones said he didn't want to advertise young players that could be signed from their practice squad. So, Skip, what's going on here?
Yeah, what is going on, Skip?
Jerry Jones is trying to give me a heart attack again. That's what he's trying to do. He's at it again. Jerry Jones just couldn't help himself. Even during a pandemic, he said, I got a bright idea. I can make a couple of bucks. I can sell our inter-squad scrimmage on Sunday evening to a local TV station. And I'm guessing this was the first clash that he had with his new coach, Mike McCarthy.
Yep.
He said, Jerry, during the pandemic, with no preseason games played, we only have one advantage here, and that's secrecy. I'm installing a new offense, and nobody we're going to play, especially the Los Angeles Rams, who we play on opening Sunday night, nobody can see what we're doing. Nobody can see which young players we like and we have elevated maybe even into starting positions. So you can't scout us. Why would you put our scrimmage on television, Jerry? You're cutting off your nose to spite your face here. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And when you pay Paul, we're going to pay the Rams on this one.
Right.
You're giving away our one little advantage that we have.
Secrecy.
So Jerry says, I got it. How about if we televise and we put no numbers or names on any jersey? And we go in with tight shots. We come in so tight that you can't see the total formation.
That look like Ty Smith right there. That like he dapping up Dak. I could be wrong, Skip.
I'm with you. But the Rams are smart.
That look like Zeke. Is that Zeke?
I don't think that's Zeke.
That should like Jalen Smith right there.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I think you can identify the players just on reputation.
Thank you.
I think you can pretty much guess at some of the formations and some of the plays being run, even though you're going in tight.
Right.
Even though you're lingering on McCarthy's face on the sidelines for 15 seconds at a time, which is an eternity on television.
Correct.
You can still see enough that you can scout it a little bit and you can take away some. I'm sure the Rams are tearing it to pieces as we speak. Want to bet?
Yeah.
They got people poring over every little bit of tape that they have from that scrimmage.
Yes.
And what good does it really do you? It's just local TV, so they're not going to pay a fortune for this game. Jerry, why can't you just put a sock in it just for a little bit, just until you get to the start of the real season?
Because what it's always been about for Jerry is what, Skip? Dollars. This was an opportunity because, and you don't want people to scout your players. How about not televise it? Why you got to tell them? Why you just can't have a normal scrimmage, Skip? Because everybody was having, I was reading, a lot of teams had scrimmages on Saturdays and Sunday, and nobody televised it.
Nobody. I don't know one that televised. I might have missed one, but I don't know one.
But the opportunity to make a buck, because that's the overriding theme with Jerry. Skip, can I make $1 off this? Look, everybody, you didn't have to put no name on that. I know that was Ty Smith that dapped up Dak Prescott, that handed the ball to Zeke, that got tackled by Jalen Smith. Skip, I know that. Everybody knows that. You watch these guys enough. You see the way they dress. Ty Smith gonna have that arm brace.
I know.
So, Jerry, I don't, Skip, I don't get, other than making $1, I don't get what they did. And I get it, Skip, because I think this year you're going to be allowed to have maybe 12 to 15 practice squad guys. And you don't want someone to see somebody and then sign them off your practice squad guy, because the guy has to say, do I want to be on Dallas practice squad, or do I want to be on a live roster on somewhere else?
Yeah.
Well, naturally, they're going to say, Skip, I want an opportunity to go play, so I'm going to be on a live roster.
Okay, so this was the equivalent of what we always say is the third dress rehearsal preseason game. This was it. This is all you got.
You're right.
It's what the equivalent of the annual blue-white scrimmage, which it's usually the first thing you do before the first preseason game.
Yes.
But that's all you got this year, because obviously Jerry lost his gates for 2 home preseason games, right?
Yes.
So he's trying to recoup a little bit of money, but it's not worth it.
Skip, did you see
jeopardize your opening game at Rams?
Skip, if I'm not mistaken, Jerry Jones' net worth is $8 billion.
Okay.
So if he loses, so if he loses, let's just say for the sake of, okay, he lost $3 million from the gate, or $4 million. Say he lost $10 million.
Yeah.
What is $10 million into $8 billion? As opposed to, as you said, Mike McCarthy is trying to have anonymity, trying to have secrecy. I don't want to give in any formations. I don't want to give away any defensive sets. I don't want to give away any special teams. I don't want to give away anything. Yeah. I just want to go line up, because guess what, Skip? Because in when you play preseason game, they look at that. So the opposing team look at your preseason. They go back because, hold on, this is a new team. Let's go back and look at some of Mike McCarthy at Green Bay and some of the formations that he ran on offense. Yep. Let's go study Mike Nolan when he was a head coach or when he was a defensive coordinator. You look at all that. Well, now, Skip, there was no preseason. There's no preseason games. So now I get to roll out. Skip, I just roll out of bed. And Jerry's like, you know what? I could probably make me about $300,000-$400,000 by putting this on local Dallas. And, they're going to watch it. People going to watch it, Skip, because what else are they going to watch on a Saturday night? Oh, unless they watch LeBron. But in Dallas, they probably was watching, watching this. I just don't get it with Jerry. I don't, Skip. I don't.
He didn't make enough to buy sunscreen for his yacht, right?
No, he didn't.
I mean, it's not worth what you could give away.
Right.
I could see what the format. I don't care how tight you come in. You can see how the play is.
I saw Zeke in an offset position. But like Mike McCarthy said, frankly, like, we're allowing teams to possibly evaluate and critique our players and possibly sign them from under us. Skip, what advantage is Jerry? For $300,000, for $400,000, or whatever they paid, let's just say they paid $1 million. Really, for that? You willing to risk giving away information? Because no matter what, Skip, no matter how small you think it is, that's why they film. Somebody can get information. That's why people, when they're offensive and defensive coordinators, Skip, they cover their mouth, because they got people reading what you're trying to say. Come on, Jerry, you've been around this long enough. At some point in time, Jerry, damn.
This had to cause Mike McCarthy his first sleepless night on the job, and it had to have him wake up in the middle of the night staring at the ceiling thinking, what have I gotten myself into? This is a Jerry special where he lords it over the head coach and says, I'm going to do this for the bottom line, not for the one-loss record.
Correct. Okay. Skip, I can go out there, they're going to have no numbers on, and I guarantee you I can go out there, I can look at them guys on tape and tell you exactly who they are. I can tell you all the offensive line, but I can tell you the skill position. I mean, that's Amari. Look at the way he run. Man, that's Michael Gallup. That's CeeDee Lamb. That's Zeke. That's Pollard. Skip, everybody knows who they are. They don't need the numbers. They don't need the numbers on the back to identify.
Welcome back, Jerry.
Hey, that's like somebody, hey, that's you, Skip? Nah, that ain't me.
That's not me. No, I wasn't out there.
Oh, man, Jerry, for a couple $100,000, Skip. Oh, well.
All I hear with this story is show me the money. We get Jerry Maguire in there. It's all that keeps running through my head.
No mercy.
Luka Dončić made a splash in his playoff debut. His 42 points were the most of any player in their first postseason game. He would go on to be just an assist and a half short of averaging a triple-double in the series against the Clippers. At the end of yesterday's Game 6, analyst and former coach Jeff Van Gundy said that Luka is officially, quote, a top 5 player. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is joining us now. Chris, do you agree that Luka is a top 5 player?
Luka Dončić is indeed the new age Larry Bird. And I won't go into all the similarities in their games right now. But I will say this. He is the first white player since Bird who will be in the discussion for best player in the world for the next decade or so, starting in a couple years. Luka Dončić was number 4 on my MVP ballot. I had Giannis, LeBron, Nikola Jokic, Luka Dončić, and James Harden. I had Luka second team All-NBA. Now, all that said, I can't yet put him in the top 5 because when you just look at the players, I can't put him ahead of LeBron, Kawhi, Kevin Durant, lest we forget about him, Giannis, and James Harden. That's my top 5. And I'm not ready to necessarily put him ahead of Steph yet. We'll see what Steph looks like when he comes back. But I would take Luka over anybody else. I would take him over Damian Lillard. I would take him over Anthony Davis. I would take him over anyone else, Jamal Murray, if Skip wants to name him now. So I say Luka is right just outside of the top 5 right now. But next year, he's got a good chance to maybe move into it because maybe LeBron drops off with his age. Maybe Luka can pass James Harden. We'll see what Kevin Durant looks like when he comes back. So not yet, but this dude is an MVP candidate next year for sure.
Okay.
He left Anthony Davis out. You going to let him get away with that?
I'm taking him over AD.
So what are we going to do about Kawhi? You taking him over Kawhi too?
No, I said I got LeBron, Kawhi, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and James Harden.
Okay.
That's my top 5.
I like that top 5. I'm not willing to put him over AD just yet. I'm sorry. Not yet.
Here's why I'd put him over AD. Because if I had to start a team, I'd rather have Luka than AD. AD, I need somebody else to kind of run things.
Right. He's kind of dependent on somebody to get him the ball. Yeah. I agree with you. I don't have him in my top 5, but only Magic Johnson can say he was as accomplished. Maybe LeBron, because Magic won a championship at 20 and then won another one at 22. So you're talking about a guy, a finals MVP. But when you look at Luka and what he can do at this age in a league with grown men, Luka is 21 years of age, and he just almost averaged a triple-double against a Clippers team that have 2 premier wing defenders. And he could get whatever he wants. And it was minus Porzingis the last 2 games. Porzingis got thrown out 5 minutes into the third quarter. No Cauley-Stein, no Powell. So for me, I agree. I think he's I'm going to say top 10, but I don't think I'm not taking him over AD. So I got, my 5 is kind of like yours, but he's coming. He's a superstar. Put it like that. He might not be top 5, but he's a superstar. Skip Bayless. Now say it with me and Chris. Superstar.
Superstar.
Right now, I'm a superstar because I'm in a stupor over here listening to both of you. What are you both talking about? And you, Shannon Sharp, who grew up loving Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Right now,
got me a new one.
Luka Dončić is as far from Larry Bird as I am from French Lick, Indiana. That's how far he is from Larry Bird. It is blasphemy. It is heresy. It is lightning will strike for us to even be putting Luka Dončić in the same conversation with one of the deadliest dead-eye shooters in the history of this game. There's nobody I wanted to see the ball in the hands of at the end of a game than Larry Joe Bird as a Boston Celtic. He made shots. He created shots. He was a shot maker. He shot it over his head, stand still, feet on the floor, and you could not block it at 6'9". Luka Dončić is still a lousy three-point shooter and an even worse free throw shooter. They're called free throws, F-R-E-E throws. And he hasn't shown me anything because his free throw percentage from the regular season was bad enough, and it went down in the playoffs in 6 games against the Clippers. He shot 67.9%. That is pathetic. That's 48th of the 52 qualified free throw shooters in the playoffs. He went 4 of 8 yesterday. That will not work. You're disqualified from any top 5, top 10, even top 15 consideration if you can't make your free throws.
So
and if during the regular season you were ranked 140th of 147 3-point shooters. You are not top 5, not as Jeff said, and I love Jeff Van Gundy, but to say easily top 5 when you are a target on defense. Whoever you guard, they are going after you because you can't guard anybody. Occasionally you can disrupt and steal the ball, but you can't guard anybody. And most teams try to go at you physically because you have a reputation over the last couple of years of being a little bit soft. I thought he stood up for himself and fought back against the Clippers. The truth is, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing because he's also a little bit of a gray area, dare I say, sly, clever player who can get away with a little dirty, cheap shot into the back of Reggie Jackson's head, knocking him out of bounds and out of the game. Yeah, you can get away with that. But in the end, how can I have respect for a guy who can't shoot, who can do, he's a great passer, and he can get into the lane and dish the ball. I will give you that. But I just detailed why he is over and out of anybody's top 5 or even top 10 consideration.
You gave free throw shooting. So by that definition, LeBron's not top 15.
Giannis either.
Come on. right. Yeah, Giannis. Well, I mean, come on.
All I know is that LeBron James has been perpetually disqualified from the GOAT conversation because he's a lousy free throw shooter. I've said it 1,000 times on this show.
Giannis shot 75% in the regular season from the line. And like Shannon said, he'll get better. To say he's not a good shooter is just not true. Now, his percentage was poor from three-point land. I get that. But you can look at him and see this guy can shoot the basketball and is going to just keep improving. Skip, you're talking about Bird like all he was a shooter. Bird defensively, Bird couldn't stay in front of anybody either, but he was a smart team defender and got a lot of steals. That's what Luka does. Luka is strong like Bird. Luka is smart like Bird was. Luka uses change of direction, change of pace, feint, slice to get his shot off against anybody like Larry Bird. Luka doesn't back down from the brothers. Let's just keep it real. Like Larry Bird. Luka, and I'm going to say this, if you count LeBron's second season in the league as his 20-year-old season, then Luka Dončić is the best 20-year-old in NBA history. Larry Bird was 23 years old when he got into the NBA. Magic had the tremendous game in Game 6. I think that's arguably the best game ever played by an individual in the NBA when he scored 42 in place of Kareem in the NBA Finals. He was 20. But Magic didn't have a better year than Luka.
No.
Magic didn't even lead his team in assists his first 2 seasons. That was Norm Nixon. Magic wasn't Rookie of the Year. Magic wasn't first or second team All-NBA as a 20-year-old. Luka is the true Skip. You should accept it now, so save embarrassment from later.
Oh, stop
this
it.
dude is for real.
I haven't been embarrassed for 2 years yet because he keeps backing me up. 17 straight years I've heard, LeBron will improve at the free throw line. Baloney. You have the whole offseason to shoot free throws, and you get worse and worse. LeBron's gotten worse through his career from the free throw line.
LeBron doesn't have a great shooter's touch. Luka does.
Oh, stop it. Great shooter's touch. Show me. Hey, he leads the league in air ball shooting. Have you been watching? He shot in the previous game, or his last Sunday's game, he shot 3 air balls before he made the last one. He is hit and mostly miss. He is 31% during the whole regular season. Don't tell me he's got great touch. Baloney.
He'll get better.
Show me.
Skip, hold on. He can handle the ball better than Bird.
I don't know about that.
I know about that. I know about
passer.
Skip, you have
Not
to
just a good passer.
First of all,
he passes virtually as well as Bird. He's as close a passer to Bird as LeBron is to Magic.
First of all, you got to realize the offense ran through Tiny Archibald and Dennis Johnson. They were the primary ball handlers. Yes, Larry.
We're going back.
But I'm saying, but Bird can handle the ball. But Skip, this guy has the ball in his hand almost exclusively.
Okay, and he did lead the playoffs so far in turnovers, as well as missed free
That's going to be
throws.
expected. But I'm saying he will get better. Will he ever shoot like Steph Curry from three? Probably not. But all he needs to do is shoot 35% from the three. That's an extra 2 points. If he shoots 80% from the free throw line, that's another 2 points. And he averaging 29, so you're going to be looking at somebody averaging 32, 33 points a game. Chris, I told Skip earlier, I believe he'll be the next guy to average a triple-double for the entirety of the season. And he'll do it with Russ and Oscar Big O type numbers with the 30-point triple-doubles. Not a 20, 10, and 10, a 30, 10, and 10.
And
yeah, I think that's very possible, Shannon.
Finally, let me close this case by saying he is disqualified from any top 5 consideration because he leads the league in one category for sure, whining after every call or non-call. He looks to the refs and whines and cries and begs more than any player in the league, and it is unbecoming. It is a bad look for a young rising star, and he gets away with it because you guys give him a pass for it, and I am not. I can't watch him after a while because every call he looks and says, whoa, whoa, protect me.
Doesn't everybody does that? LeBron, Giannis, Harden, except even Harden, and he shoots 15 free throws a game.
He doesn't need to do it.
Absolutely. What star, Skip? Name one superstar who doesn't do that.
Chris, it's every play. I just get sick of it. Van Gundy called him out. Thank you, Jeff Van Gundy, early in that game saying, that's just a bad look, and it is.
Yeah, but Skip, when you're a superstar, you have to have there's no way I missed a shot. The guy fouled me. It's just like a quarterback. If a quarterback misses a throw, either somebody did something to him or did something to his receiver. That's why they're always complaining. Tom Brady's arms are always outstretched. That's just the way it is. So you just accept it. You make it seem like Jordan didn't ever complain about a call.
Not like this. It's why Marcus Morris posted on social, cry me a river. Operative word cry, because he's crying rivers to the officials.
Why you had a cheap shot at him?
Well,
because he bust you up, he dropped that 43-point on him.
Maybe because you elbowed him to start the
That ain't nobody elbowed Marcus Morris. Stop that.
Marcus couldn't do anything with Luka. And to be honest, he gave Kawhi. Kawhi couldn't stop him. Nobody could stop him.
Chris, what they tried to do, they tried to get in his head by talking. And then once that couldn't work, we tried to get physical, but the physicality went over the line. So now what y'all gonna do? He's like, man, you know what? Because you know, Skip, when you start talking to him and then you start trying to push him down and shove him down, he gained more confidence. His strength is in that, like, oh, y'all give me that old Bron treatment. Y'all give me the Kobe and Jordan treatment. I must be special. He is.
Two people on this show are going to look foolish.
Skip. He was by himself against those Clippers, and he gave them all they could handle.
Yeah, and if Kane Fitzgerald hadn't intervened in Game 1 and threw Kristoff out and with 5 minutes in the third quarter, we might be having a different discussion, Skip Bayless. A very different discussion.
Move over, Larry. Here he comes.
Now, regardless what you think, you have to admit that Luka has that captivating superstar quality.
Yep.
So that's... Only time will tell. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. We're moving on.
No mercy.
In the new book, Dynasty, that covers the Patriots' historic run with Tom Brady, new details emerged about just how severe his thumb injury was in 2018. According to Brady's surgeon, his jam thumb tore skin apart so much that it looked like he had been slashed with a blade. And he was amazed that the QB hadn't broken any bones or torn ligaments. Just 4 days later, Brady threw for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Jaguars to advance to the Super Bowl. So, Shannon, how much more impressed are you with Brady's win over the Jaguars, now learning what he went through?
I'm not impressed at all. I mean, Skip would have you believe that the man missed a thumb. They found a glove with a thumb on it and put him out there and he threw the ball with no thumb. I do not believe this injury occurred as they said. Now, in order for that injury to happen, Tom Brady's thumb would have had to bend back this way. to get a gate. Because if it does like this, no. If it does like that, no. Now, I jammed my thumb, and I played with a thumb splint on mine to keep my thumb from bending back like that. Now, you look at injuries, gruesome injuries. Joe Theismann, we saw the skin break. We saw the bone break through the skin. We saw Alex Smith, the bone come through the skin. Robert Edwards, the bone comes through the skin. Now, when we're dealing with elderly people, someone that has diabetes, someone that's elderly that doesn't have the elasticity, don't get enough water, the skin will tear. The skin will tear, yes, absolutely. But for him to say the thumb bent back so far that it didn't break, it didn't dislocate, it didn't tear any ligaments, but it ripped the skin. Nah, I believe this is an injury that happened at home. Tom Brady covered it up and then pretended to come out there, and that happened. I do not believe this injury happened the way they said it. I'll go to my grave believing that. Now, that's the end of that one.
And you'll go to your grave wrong. This reporting by Jeff Benedict in this book was astonishing to me. It is third-level, fly-on-the-wall reporting, and he flat out writes, on a routine play at practice, Brady handed off the ball, got his thumb caught with Rex Burkhead trying to grab the ball a little prematurely and yanked so hard on his thumb that it hyperextended and it ripped the skin wide open. And if you read this carefully, they have a hand specialist who is their surgeon for a lot of the Boston teams, but especially for the Patriots, named Matthew Liebman. And when he first got the picture texted to him, he said, holy you know what, the SH word. And he was shocked to find that because in 99% of the cases, as you just alluded to, when you yank the thumb back so hard like that it just rips open the skin and you can see the bone, usually the bone breaks because it's loaded so hard backwards, it's just going to fracture.
Because something has to tear the skin open like that.
And usually a ligament or a tendon is going to go with it.
Correct.
And usually you're going to be down, and this is your right thumb, so throwing thumb. Your season is over, and they said Brady was sitting in the medical area on a stretcher with tears in his eyes because he thought his career had ended. And when the doctor got there, Belichick was watching and never said a word. And you want to talk about cold-blooded? He never.
What is supposed to say? He ain't no doctor. What do you have to offer, a second opinion?
A little bit of sympathy.
No, we don't do that.
And this
it's football.
He points out he never said a word, listened to the doctor, and then walked away. And
because what did I tell you? So I'm starting to think Coach Belichick don't believe it happened. Skip, now you do know, like, when you hand him, it's his right thumb. So in order for that to happen, he had to be handing the ball off to his left side because the ball is in his right thumb. Now, Skip, if you tell me he and Rex Burkhead ran together, he went one way, Rex Burkhead went the wrong way, they come together like we chest bump and his thumb goes back. But I'm trying to figure out how you hand the ball off like this and bend the thumb back like that.
Freak accident injury. And this reporting, this book says that Rex Burkhead came in just before they did the surgery back in the locker room and was crying huge tears. And Brady told him, it's not your fault. I love you, man, which he always says. So I guess this guy just made it all up. I don't know.
Skip, that's what I'm telling you. I believe this was a kitchen injury. This was an injury that happened at home.
And fabricated his whole book. I don't know.
Skip, hold on, Skip. Whew. Just because that doesn't mean that all the book is a fabrication. I just don't believe that this happened like they said it did. I'm sorry. I've been around and I've seen some freak injuries, but I've never seen anything where the thumb bends completely back that so hard it tears the skin, but it doesn't break or tear any ligaments.
So Dr. Liebman said, this requires surgery. I need to take you to the OR for surgery. And he said, no, we're going to do it right here. Okay, we'll do it right here. So he injects the thumb a bunch of times with painkiller. And then he goes in and cleans out all the way to the bone, the dirt particles that got in from practice. And then it required 25 sutures of high caliber thread, the thicker thread, because he said, if you're going to try to play on this in 4 days, I got to go thick thread here. And I got to do crisscross sutures where let's hope they'll hold.
And crazy glue.
And you cannot do anything on this for 4 days. The next day, he goes back to see how he's doing, and they're already throwing the football. And he said, you can't. It's going to split open again. Tom said, I'm going to play. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to get ready to play. And then the great detail was 2 minutes before kickoff, after he had warmed up and they're playing the national anthem, Tom comes in and sees Dr. Liebman in the dressing room, in the locker room again. And he says, Doc, you need to do one thing for me. You need to cut the tops off each of the sutures because they protrude about a quarter of an inch. He said, it's bothering my throws because I can feel them wiping against the football. And he said, I can't do that, Tom. If I cut them, it's going to split open. You know it and I know it. And he said, cut them. Okay, and he cut them off, and you know the rest of the story. They're playing Jacksonville. They're down 20-10 in the fourth quarter. AFC Championship game, and Tom Brady in the fourth quarter throws for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, and all Belichick wanted to talk about after the game was Danny Amendola. He said, if you look in the dictionary under football player, you'll see the picture of Danny Amendola.
I believe, Skip Bayless, that Coach Belichick smells something fishy. That's why the man, because you mean to tell me a man right there that's done all that, rips his hand open right there in practice, you witness it. Coach Belichick says something don't smell good.
I guess this is
something doesn't smell good.
I don't know.
He said something smell like cod.
Really?
Yeah, something smell like 3-day-old cod.
So reporters kept asking.
AC, you smell that too? Yeah. Coach Belichick smelled it out. Said, you think you're slick.
So reporters kept asking Belichick, well, don't you think it was pretty special that Tom sucked it up?
And what did he say?
He said it wasn't exactly open heart surgery. And from the descriptions that I read here, it's pretty close.
No, it wasn't.
It's pretty close to open heart surgery. If you're ripped open to the bone where you can see the exposed bone in your throwing hand, you got a problem because you know and I know the thumb plays a huge role in guiding the football. It's hard to throw it with any velocity or accuracy if your thumb has 20 stitches in it. I'm sorry, this was all time. And that Belichick quote, it wasn't exactly open heart surgery. That was the death knell for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, I promise you. Because all time, you know what? It's a minor miracle. He played 2 weeks later against Philly and threw for a all-time playoff record, 505 yards. I've never seen anything like this before.
Death knell,
you should be impressed for the first time.
The death knell should have came when we tried to trade you. When we tried to get Jimmy G in there. That should have been the death knell. You thought we were playing? You thought this was a game? You thought this was a joke?
Yep. So this year, every time Tom throws a pass, in the very back of his psyche, he's going to be thinking, open heart surgery, that, Coach Belichick.
I'm happy. I'm happy with my guy. Because I want to do my guy. I ain't got to share no limelight with you. Get your own banging. Coach Belichick said, I'm the lead singer of this group. You trying to sing over me.
Congratulations, Jeff Benedict, on sensational reporting and
sensationalism.
Shannon Sharp's eyes.
Sensationalism. Yeah. Yellow journalism, what they call that.
I don't think so.
Reading that passage, I can already see it. This is going to be turned into a movie one day.
I hope not. I ain't watching.
You can see it.
You ought to be ashamed of you. You believe anything.
I believe this.
You believe.
Soul.
No mercy.
Bronny James is the latest big name to take his talents to eSports. Bronny announced he joined the professional eSports organization, FaZe Clan. The organization already has other athletes like Ben Simmons and Juju Smith-Schuster on their roster. So, Shannon, do you have any problems or issues with this?
I don't. As a parent, look, it's first responsibility to his schoolwork. Second responsibility, you play in a sport. Okay, you're going to vote. You're going to be able to get your time in if you have chores. So for me, Skip, I don't have a problem with it. I'm sure his schoolwork, as long as Savannah and LeBron are saying, look, as long as your schoolwork does not suffer, you're going to get to the gym, get shots up, you're going to do your training, you're going to do your chores around the house. I got no problem with what you do in your spare time. I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, look, Skip, the dude got 5.5 million followers on IG, 4.3 million on TikTok, 300,000 on Twitch. So he's an influencer. And obviously these kids now, they're big into gaming, and it is a big business, Skip. There's a lot of big-time owners of professional sports that's buying into this business. So it just goes to show you that it is big business. And obviously he's good at it. Yeah, he's LeBron James' son. But I believe he's good at these games. And so I do not have a problem with it. They need to hook your boy up.
You play video games? Nope. So that would be a problem, hooking you up. So, speaking of being hooked up, I'm going to assume that Bronny is going to get paid for his services because he should get paid for his services.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The NCAA does not love potential NCAA basketball players getting paid for their services.
Right.
That disqualifies you from amateurism.
I noticed that, though, Skip, but I was looking at something last night on IG, and I saw a girl promoting Baylor, and she had on Baylor paraphernalia, and it would say paid by Baylor.
Okay.
So influencers can get money, go to a school and get money, but I guess if you an athlete, you can.
I didn't say it wasn't hypocrisy.
Oh, okay,
I didn't
okay.
say that the whole system should be abolished.
He might have to be like LaMelo, huh?
Yes, because he's already being recruited by all the top schools, Duke, Kansas, Kentucky. Coach Cal's already offered him a scholarship.
Yeah.
And I get it in large part because of his father, and you're looking at potential. Is he going to sprout up to maybe 6'8" or so? By the time he just finished his freshman campaign.
Correct.
So again, he averaged like 4 points, but he's playing for the varsity as a freshman. That's pretty great.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So will he be worth the scholarship? Sure, he will be at some point down the road. Is he going to be as good? No, he probably, almost certainly is not going to be as good as yet. It looks like LeBron has said, like, LeBron would be the first to tell you how hypocritical the college system is.
Right.
That they deserve to get paid for whatever they do on and off the court.
Right.
Well, I think he might have just given up his kids' chances of playing at Duke, let's say, and getting a Duke education if he so desired. Because I think it would be the LaMelo route now. You could go to Australia, you could go to Europe, you could go.
What if we put it in a trust and don't get it until afterwards? Could we do that?
I don't know how that works, but I think they don't love any of that. And yet, maybe
the rules will be changed by the time we go to school.
Also, the G League is getting bigger and better.
Right.
That by then it might be right on time. You go at age 18 and you play G League basketball.
And that might be the way to fast track it, Skip, because, I mean, you figure LeBron, you say junior is going to his sophomore year. That'll be year 18. His junior year, that'll be year 19. His senior year, that'll be year 20. Okay. So if you go to college for 1 year, so you're already talking about year 21.
Okay. If he went to Duke, would he finish at Duke and get his education? Probably not.
Right.
And is that a big problem? No, I don't have any problem with that. The other issue here is, and this is fascinating to me, LeBron doesn't protect him from this at all. He pushes him out to the public view, right? Mm-hmm. So he's saying, my son is mature enough and mentally tough enough that he can take whatever backlash there is from this, any criticism or whatever, right? He is pushing him hard. He's been on TV a lot at AAU games. Right. So he's pushing him hard.
He just don't, I don't think his mom and dad allow him to do interviews.
I guess not. I hadn't thought of that.
Right. I don't think they allow him to do interviews, but, hey, you're going to cover the games. But I don't think I don't recall seeing him. Maybe I've missed a couple, but I don't think right now.
But his name is LeBron Jr.
Yeah.
And that is tough to stand up under, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, Skip, but at the end of the day, like I said, obviously he didn't have chores like I did growing up. But if he's going to get done, he's going to get that schoolwork. He's going to get them shots up. He's going to train. Whatever the chores is he has around the house, taking out the trash, cleaning up, if he's going to do all that and he still has time to prepare and train and get ready to play these games, do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Well, if he's as much a dynamo as his father is on time management, he can do it. He might look. The likelihood of a player being historically great and having a child that's also historically great, normally it's skip. Normally, if the father's great, the son is not so much. Normally, if the father's not so much, the son is. Archie Manning was a good player, but he wasn't Peyton. Barry Bonds was good, but he wasn't. Bobby Bonds was good, but he wasn't Barry. Bobby was really good.
He was, but Skip.
And Elder Griffey was pretty good, but he
wasn't Junior.
No.
So we get that. We understand that. So for me, I don't have a problem with it. But he can give me a couple of these million followers on IG, though. He could do that.
Yep. Well, maybe he will.
Yeah. See you boys.
They owe you a lot.
No, don't mean that. They don't owe me anything.
Yes,
his dad got like 70 million. Just break bread and give me like 10.
They sent you a mini Bron. What more do you want?
They didn't send that to me.
Yes, they did.
I don't know why you think.
Thank you, Maverick.
First of all, Skip, I do not have Maverick information. Me and Maverick does not have information. I ordered it.
You might have. I wouldn't put that past you.
I ordered it.
Shannon, I agree with you here. If he can make time for it, he grew up in the spotlight, he handles it right. Why not make some extra money, put it away?
Yeah.
If he goes to college, you're already starting your savings account.
I mean, his dad got money. That ain't his money. I know what I tell my kids. No, your daddy got money. You don't have nothing. You got a job.
No mercy.
The Jaguars have waived former fourth overall pick Leonard Fournette this morning. The team attempted to trade the running back this offseason, but could not find any takers. Fournette had just over 2,600 yards on the ground and 17 touchdowns in 3 seasons with Jacksonville. So, Shannon, would you want him?
Well, Skip, it tells me, before I answer that question, it tells me that Jags are tanking for Trevor Lawrence. Now, they traded Calais Campbell. They just traded, well, I think they released or traded Calais Campbell. Yep. They released Ngakoue. They traded Jalen Ramsey. Now you trade the 3rd pick in the draft from just 3 years ago. So it tells me the direction that they're heading in, that they're looking to get one of these quarterbacks that's coming out. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, they want a young quarterback. So I'm not sure they're sold on Gardner Minshew. Mm-hmm. He's 25 years of age, Skip. He only has 600. Leonard Fournette. He's only 25. He only has 666 carries in 3 years. That's nothing. That's nothing. So, Skip, I believe he's going to get picked up. And the reason why no one would give you anything for him, Skip, if you approach me, hey, Chef, I got a car for sale. Why am I going to give you what you're asking for it? Because you're telling me you want to get rid of it. I didn't ask you, hey, man, look, I'm in the market for a running back. Would you be interested in parting ways with Leonard Fournette? That's one thing. You come to me, oh, I'm not giving what you're asking for because I already know you want to get rid of it. So, but I think somebody's going to pick him up, Skip. It's sad. I mean, you're 2 weeks from the season. If that's the case, Skip, if nobody wanted to trade for him in the offseason, go ahead and release him. Why you bring him into camp, have him this, and now we're 2 weeks from the season, and now you release him?
I do agree with you about Jacksonville. It's starting to look a little fishy, speaking of Florida. It's just looking like what you just said.
And they traded A.J. Boye. All these Pro Bowlers from the defense, Skip, are not gone.
Somehow that Tom Coughlin regime is so tough, you know, that they demand it's our way or the highway, and too many players are on the highway right now. Going back to Jalen Ramsey. So this was back in 2014, maybe. I was on the other network, on the other show, and we had Les Miles on before the season started. He did his interview on air, and when we went to commercial break, I chatted with him briefly about a young rising star he had named Leonard Fournette. And he told me, this kid is unbelievable because of his work ethic, and his intangibles are Michael Jordan-esque. That's what he told me, quote unquote. And I took it to the bank because I love Coach Miles, and I think he's a shrewd operator. And he could see right from the start this young man from New Orleans was going to be very special. And somehow he hasn't been that guy at any stage of his career, because there were back-to-back years against Alabama where he just got shut down and shut out.
And it seems to be, Skip, like he stays nicked for some reason.
Nicked. So when we first started this show in 2016, it was our first show of the, whatever that September
6th, we're anniversary.
Coming up on it. And I picked Leonard Fournette to win the Heisman and LSU to be the team that year. And for a while, it looked like they would be. And then once again, they ran headlong into Coach Saban's defense. And what disappointed me about Leonard was, usually the more carries you get, the stronger you get. And you'll finally just wear down and wear out even a Coach Saban defense if you're that guy. He did not do that. It looked like he got worn down and he got worn out. And I'm not saying he quit against them, but he would try less and less hard as the game went on. He was discouraged quickly, frustrated, and just sort of threw up his hands and said, I can't do this. Remember, he was the biggest man on campus because it was him and Ben Simmons was going through his year, obviously 1 year of basketball in purgatory where he was forced to play.
And plus, he's a local kid, Skip.
And he's a local kid. So what have we seen? We have seen literal bursts of him.
Oh, yeah.
Remember week 4 last year at Denver? He goes 29 carries for 225. That's big time.
Yep.
And we saw a couple of other games in that ballpark, but never could he sustain it.
Right.
Always nicked, as you point out, and always grousing about something.
Yeah.
Is that what happens under the Tom Coughlin regime?
Right.
Does it just rub you the wrong way where you can never quite be happy because they want you to stay perpetually uneasy, unhappy? Is that just the way they're coached, maybe?
Yes.
So would the Bears jump all over him? They lost Montgomery, and all of a sudden, could he be just what the doctor ordered? They should probably jump all over him.
Because he's I think they still got Cohen, Tarek Cohen.
They do, yeah.
So I think he would be a great compliment. I definitely think the Bears could use him.
Yep.
And remember, Skip, they also traded Nick Foles away in the offseason. So, Skip, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So, Skip, you can't be getting rid of all these players and say, well, we're getting better. Trade Leonard Fournette. Calais Campbell is gone. Jalen Ramsey is gone. A.J. Boyer is gone. Trade Nick Foles and say, oh, yeah, we're getting better. Ngakoue, traded him to Minnesota. He's gone. But, we trying to win the AFC South. Really?
Really not.
Exactly. They're positioning themselves for one of these quarterbacks, Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, because I believe both of these guys are coming out,
Well,
Skip.
I thought about Fournette to the Bucks, but they seem pretty happy with LaShawn McCoy because he can catch it as well as run it.
Oh, he can?
All right, well, that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Pick the topic if you watching, Skip and Shannon, Skip and Hopping, took these